Coming up, the toddler lucky to be alive after falling from her bedroom window.
Dangerous driving crackdown as 200 motorists are caught using their phones at the wheel.
And talking of wheels, find out what happened when one came rolling down a road. That's at 6. Coming up, the lucky toddler lucky to be alive after falling from her bedroom window. Details next.
Now the latest ITV News Central with Samina Ali Khan and Matt Teal.
Hello, the headlines in the Midlands tonight. Lucky escape. The toddler who fell out of a first-floor bedroom window, hitting her head on concrete.
She was unconscious on the floor, her eyes were shut, she was hardly breathing. I basically thought she was dying.
Motorists told to stop using their mobiles while driving. Nearly 200 are caught in a clampdown.
A business boom for Midlands manufacturers. 2/3 say they'll hire more workers.
And the car wheel on the loose. Find out what happened next.
Good evening. A family from the Black Country say their baby is lucky to be alive after falling from an upstairs bedroom window. Lily Taylor, who's 16 months old, had to have emergency brain surgery following the fall in Tipton last week.
It happened after Sandwell Council, which owns the house, had been carrying out repairs on its windows. Tonight, council bosses have told us they're concerned about the incident and say an investigation is underway. Daryl Murphy reports.
The scars from a fall which could have killed her. Last week, 16-month-old Lily fell from this bedroom window at her home in Tipton, smashing her head on the ground below.
I seen her on the floor and I was crying, shaking. I just didn't know whether to touch her. I just wanted to grab her and hold her. She was unconscious on the floor, her eyes were shut, she was hardly breathing. I basically thought she was dying.
Lily had fallen around 15 feet and was unconscious. She'd fractured her skull and was choking after swallowing her tongue. Her father, who's first aid trained, arrived home and was able to move it before she was taken to Birmingham Children's Hospital.
I found out that the actual bone she had fractured in her head was pushing down on a brain, placing pressure on her brain. And there was also oxygen and blood on her brain.
Lily underwent surgery straight away and had to have more than 60 stitches on her head. Since then, doctors have been surprised at how quickly she's recovered and let her go home after just 5 days in hospital.
I just feel like the luckiest person on the world for her to even be alive, for her to be home this quick. We thought she was going to be there months.
She's been playing, giggling, she's been playing with her older brother. She's just generally getting back to herself, and I'm really pleased to see that. I'm happy.
Before Lily fell out of the window, Sandwell Council, who own the house, had been repairing some of the windows. Tonight, leader Darren Cooper told us he was concerned to hear about the incident. Our thoughts are very much with Lily Taylor and her family, and I'm pleased she is now out of hospital and recovering well. The matter was referred to the police, who are looking into it, and we are unable to make any further comment at this time. Lily has another follow-up appointment with doctors next week, when her parents are hoping she'll then be given the all clear. Daryl Murphy, ITV News, Tipton.
Next tonight, a 95-year-old man has been summoned to court to face a series of charges of child sex offences dating back 60 years.
The offences relate to 12 victims over 2 decades. For more on this story, we're joined now by our reporter Victoria Davis from our newsroom. And Victoria, what more can you tell us about this?
Well,
Well, we know that today West Midlands Crown Prosecution Service authorised the charging of 95-year-old Jack Mount. He faces 32 counts of child sex offences. These relate to 12 alleged victims, both male and female, and they span a period of 20 years between 1954 and 1979. Well, Jack Mount now lives in Devon, but the police have told us that these counts include offences said to have been committed in a school in the West Mercia Police Force area, which is no longer operating. But neither the school or location can be named for legal reasons. The 95-year-old has been summoned to appear before Birmingham Magistrates Court on October the 31st, where he will formally face these charges.
OK, Victoria, thank you.
Central Motorway Police caught nearly 200 motorists using their mobile phones during a 2-week clampdown targeting dangerous drivers.
The lead inspector for the operation says the results are very disappointing. The patrols were carried out by officers from West Midlands, West Mercia and Staffordshire Police on motorways and A roads across the region between the 22nd of September and October the 5th.
Now, in total, 182 people were caught using their mobiles whilst driving. Of those, 29 were professional lorry drivers.
A coach driver carrying 40 passengers was also caught by police, and a 58-year-old man who was wanted for skipping court in Cardiff on traffic offences was also pulled over.
Well, all offenders were handed £100 fines and 3 points, or the chance to go on an awareness course.